Hey, and welcome back to the Lotus Crochet Night Show. I am super happy to have you here today. So come on in, and get in where you fit in, because I've always got room right around my table for you, your friends, and your frenemies. So go ahead, like, share, start a watch party, run and tell somebody that Lotus Crochet Ignites is hot on the box. I'm going to encourage you, grab your notebook and grab your pen, because I always say note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. Come on in and get it where you fit in at the Lotus Crochet Ignite Show. We got it here tonight, y'all. Dr. Tyler White. Let's go. Hey, I just love that intro. I know, I just love that intro. Don't y'all love that intro? Sometimes I just want to take these glasses off, but they're designed to protect my eyes, so I'll be obedient and try to protect my eyes because I spend a lot of time on the computer. But anyway, we are having faith over fear. Faith over fear and faith over failure tonight. So tonight, go ahead, like, share, start a watch party, run and tell somebody that your girl, Lotus Crochet, is here tonight with faith over failure. Faith over failure. Why faith over failure? Well, Dr. Tyra White is going to talk to us about why we should have faith over failure. And like I always say, you know what it is? Note takers are money makers, honey. Note takers are change makers. So if you are ready to make some changes in your life and having faith over your failure, faith over your fear, guess what? You are in the right place tonight. You are in the hot seat tonight because you are going to challenge yourself to have faith over fear and faith over failure. So as you come on in, and get in where you're fitting, because I always got room around my table for you, your friends, and your frenemies. So go ahead, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your dog, tell your friend, and tell your frenemies to come on in, because it's time to win. Like, share, start a watch party. Like, share, start a watch party, and run and tell somebody. Now, I've already said that to you, and I know y'all ready for me to do it. Y'all ready for me? I know y'all ready to ask me, what is in my cup? Say it with me. What is in my cup? Well, I'm going to let you know what's in my cup if you let me know what's in your cup. Tonight, I got some good old water in my cup. I wonder what Dr. White has in her cup. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. I was just in the forum with one of the leading doctors on the planet, and you know what he said? Y'all need to drink more water. He said it just like that. That's what I'm saying. Drink more water. Woo, I love it. So listen, folks, when you come in, go ahead, like, share, start a watch party. Like, share, start a watch party. Run and tell somebody that Lotus Crochet is here with my amazing guest, Dr. Tyra White. We're going to have a wonderful discussion. Faith over failure. We're also going to be talking about faith over fear. Okay? Because if you can't get over your fear, how in the world are you ever going to succeed? And sometimes we fail because we don't have faith over the fear that usually constitutes failure. So tonight, when you come in, go ahead and invite a friend. And when you invite a friend, call them out. Put their name in the comment block below. If you love someone, sharing is definitely caring. So make sure you share this with somebody. And when you come in, make sure you come in. Let us know where you're coming in from, because we always like to give you a whoop, 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 whoop. Y'all know how I do. I get lit when I come in here, especially when I have great guests, because it's always time to ignite and take flight in every area of your life. So look, I'm going to be right back. I'm going backstage and I'm going to get the remarkable Dr. Tyra White. Now, y'all stay tuned here. We'll be right back to get this party started with faith over failure. And we're going to talk about that fear, releasing that fear so you don't have to fail. How about that? So I'll be right back. I'm going to get her. Make sure you like, share, start a watch party, run and tell somebody. I'll be right back.
You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it.
We got her here tonight, y'all. This is Dr. Liza J. with the remarkable Dr. Tara White. That's right, y'all. All the way from Montgomery, Alabama. Raise your hands and raise your lighters and come on in and get it when you fit it. Because we are talking about what? Faith over failure. Let's go.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. For all of you that are out there, with no further ado, I want you to welcome my girl from Montgomery, Alabama. She's a speaker. She's a college educator. She's a trainer. She's an entrepreneur. She's a former site director of the state capitol of Alabama. That's right. And she just might be your Sarah. So if she's your Sarah, you need to be here and tell all the rest of your sisters to come on in, and get in where they fit in, because I got room right around my table for all of them. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'll play it again. Here we go.
You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
Hi.
Good to see you here tonight. How are you?
I am well. It's good to be here tonight, cousin. It really is. I can't call you cousin, right?
Yeah, you can call me cousin, but don't give me a dozen. Not the donuts, because you know I'm kind of laying off. But you know I did bake some biscuits last night from scratch, and they were. Mwah!
Well, hey, so, your grandmama was the person now, so fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, she can make a biscuit. She can make a biscuit and a multitude of other things. So welcome to the show, cuz I'm so happy that you're here. The wonderful Dr. White. So folks, when y'all come on in, give Dr. White some love, put some L's in the comment when you come in, because we're going to get right into this faith over failure. And we're also going to be tapping into faith over fear, because a lot of people fail because of the fear that they have, and they don't exercise their faith. So, Dr. White, I've shared with our audience that you are from Montgomery, Alabama. You're a speaker, you're a college educator, you're a trainer, you're an entrepreneur, you're a former site director of the state capitol of Alabama, and so much more. So won't you please take a moment to tell the folks, before we get into our topic tonight, tell the folks a little bit more, or as much as you want to tell them.
Well, thank you. Everything you said, I am an educator. I'm a historian. I have worked in museums, historic sites. Amongst the historic sites I've worked at is the state capitol. I am also a whole bunch of things. Sister. I'm a daughter. I'm an aunt. I'm a cousin. Just a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm a friend. Bae boo. So I'm a whole lot of stuff, and I'm also a mentor, a mentee, because I believe in learning. I'm a lifelong learner, and I have been blessed with some of the most amazing mentors. So that's another thing, and I'll talk about that tonight too. But I'm also a person of faith, and that's been something that's been cultivated in me. It's actually been a part of my DNA. My grandmother was a woman of faith. Her mother was a woman of faith. And that was, kind of how I was raised, and how I was raised to, to stand against the odds. So, and it was that faith that allowed me to do that.
Awesome. 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 I love that. So let's get right into it. And we see you coming in, folks. We see you. Go ahead, like, share, start a watch party. Like, share, start a watch party. Run and tell somebody that we are here with the Lotus Richey Ignite Show and my amazing guest, Dr. Tara White. As we get started, as we talk about faith over fear. Yeah. And faith over failure. So, we got a dual kind of topic going on. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the faith over fear process. And so if you have had fear and your faith was shaking and you didn't know what to do, if you've ever experienced that before, put a number 2 in the comment. And then for those of you that have this ironclad faith where you've exercised your faith over fear, put a number 3 in the comment block below. So as we get started, Dr. White, again, I'm super happy to have you here. Thank you for sharing a bit more about who you are, the woman, the aunt, the cousin, the friend, the leader, the Sarah, whoop, whoop, right? So I want to know what inspired you to come to the show and talk about these dual topics, really, because I know you deal with a lot of people, young adults, older adults, and they're thriving in academia and in life. And a lot of times you have helped them. You have led them. But a lot of times you've had to talk them off of the fence of fear and failure and get them to exercise their faith. And this is a tough subject for many people. So what inspired you to come tonight to talk about this topic?
Well, I think it's a timely topic, and I think it's something that we constantly need to address and teach to. I have to remind people that I have to remind people of my background. Mm-hmm. And I am, as a part of my testimony, my life story is my testimony. That I, grew up the oldest of 6 children, that we grew up in the projects, that we, did have a pot of wonder, as the old folks would say, a pot a pot to piss in or window to throw it out, right? And we had absolutely nothing. And, it was faith that helped, faith that my life could be different. That was really what propelled me and continued to motivate me my entire life. That the person who motivated me more than anybody else was my grandmother. Mm-hmm. My grandmother, and like I said, I can't even use correct grammar for this. We was poor, and we couldn't afford the O and the R, right? We was poor, but my grandmother didn't see poverty as a condition of your being,
right?
Right? Poverty was exterior to you as a person, right? And so she never, and in fact, she resisted all of her life. And when I tell you, she resisted the label poor all of her life. She would tell us that we're not poor. The people who are starving in Africa, they are poor. The people who are hungry in Bangladesh, they are poor. You are not poor. And I was like, Grandma, because my material experience was not the same as what she was seeing, but she always wanted us to understand that, there is poverty, and then there's poverty of spirit, right?
Right.
And you're only, that your wealth, number one, wealth is not money, and wealth is not things. That wealth is a whole lot more. And as I approach, my 50th year, I understand that wealth is a lot of things. When you have lost people, right? And you've had, and when I say lost people, and members, we, as a part of our life cycle, we lose people in our lives. And, we lose parents, we lose grandparents, we lose aunts, uncles. When you've lost folks who mean a lot to you, and family members who you love deeply, and friends who you were so close to, and whatever, you have a different perspective about what real wealth is, and when you have had, life-changing events. One life-changing event for me was
Yes.
having COVID last summer,
Mm-hmm.
and really thinking that I was not going to make it out of. I did not. I thought at one point I was not going to live
Right.
beyond it and survive it. But having those life-changing events will tell you that, real wealth is not this stuff. Real wealth is having people who called. I had friends who called me every day. I had family members who were calling and checking. I had girlfriends, my best friend, my best friend was my best friend, but my best friend is my best friend. I mean, and I'm talking, we've gone through life, the stuff of life together.
Are you talking about Val?
Say that again. Well, Val is one of them.
Okay.
Val is one of them.
Hey,
yes.
Val, what's going on?
And when I tell you that, those friends, my friends were praying, my friends were dropping stuff on the porch. My friends were, my best friend was mixing up. She was mixing up the turmeric and garlic and
Yes.
and ginger stuff, girl, that stuff. Woo, and leaving it on the porch. I had, another historian girlfriend of mine who was calling every day, trying to get me to sit and do breathing exercises,
Yes.
To try to clear my lungs out. Just all kinds of stuff. And of course, your family, my mom, my poor little mother, I really think my mother thought she was going to lose both of us, because the truth was that we had a family member we had a friend of our family who actually did lose her son, her young son, to this.
But I want you to step back for 1 minute.
And so,
because you said lose both of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about my other cousin.
So my brother and I, so my little brother was living with me.
And he's not real little, y'all.
Yeah, if you saw my little brother, you look at me crazy, right? People look at me crazy when I refer to him as my little brother, but he is my little brother. He's just a whole lot taller than I am. But my little brother got us both sick. And anyways, I still love him though. I love my brother. I love my brother. But at that time, I wanted to beat my brother though, for real, and put him out. And so we were both sick at the same time. And so my mother was like losing it because, both of her children are sick, and she's afraid that she might lose both of her children.
Right. And she's in the healthcare field.
And she's seeing it firsthand.
For a multitude of years, as well as your youngest sister.
That's right. And she's seeing it firsthand. She's actually going to work every day and seeing people go to the COVID floor and seeing people not come back, And so like this coworker got sick, and then her son got it caring for her. And as a young man died, this lady's only son. And so it was a really, really tough place. But I had to make a decision, and I remember the day that I made that decision, I had a conversation with the Lord, and I was like, look, God, if it's time, then I'm ready to go. I'm good. Whatever you want to do, you're God, I'm not. And, but I don't believe that I was afraid of, because, and let me tell you why. Because one of the things that I was determined to not be was fearful. I was determined that I wouldn't be fearful. And I was
Right.
determined that if I was going out, if I was leaving, transitioning, that I wasn't going to transition fearfully, because the word of God says that to be absent from the body is present with the Lord. So no, if we're going out with a bang. It's going to be good. I'm going to be at peace, and I had made my peace, and I was good.
Yeah.
But I did not get no. The Lord did not tell me that this was where what it was. And so since I did not hear the yes, I assumed it was no. And when I didn't hear the yes, I was like, oh, okay, so it's on. It's
Right.
on like Donkey Kong.
Right.
And that was when I started to just really push and really to fight. And I think that's another thing that came out of my background. When you don't have a whole lot, and you go into situations, and I am a very short. I used to be short and little. I was short, little short woman, and little short brown skinned woman, and people tend to underestimate those people, right?
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did y'all hear her? She said she's a little short woman. Now, this professor, she's a professor.
I am.
She's a short woman, and she's had thousands of students. Do y'all want to see just how short she is? If so, put an S in the comment block below. And when you put the S in the comment block below, I might be able to show y'all the pint-sized lady here. And you guys know I always say, I may not be tall in stature, but I got a big personality, and that's how she is. She has a huge personality. So if y'all want to see how short she is, well, up, we got some S's already. So let me show you just how short she is, and I'm gonna show you her little brother. So
goodness,
that's how she looks standing up, y'all.
Yes.
So
yes.
But you had the faith, no matter of your size, because God says the faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. And that's what you were able to do, because you were believing in yourself. You were moving the mountains of fear and exercising your faith to get over failure.
Absolutely. And I had faith that I would be successful.
Yes.
Right. What you have to be able to see success and visualize success in order to actually enter into it. You can't, what they say, there's a saying that you cannot be what you cannot see. Right.
Oh,
there's another saying that you got to see it. This is Church of God in Christ, folks. You got to see it before you see it, or you won't see it. Right. And that's exactly it. And it really is about visualizing success. If you cannot see it, you cannot do it. It will not materialize. It won't materialize. And so I saw myself, after I didn't get an affirmative from the Lord, I saw myself, I said, oh, okay, well, yeah, we fixing to do this. We're fixing to do this. And at every place in my life, I've had to push that faith down and do it scared. There are plenty of places where I had to get beyond what I did not see, or have sight beyond what I saw. And I had to go into places that I had never been, and do things that I had never seen done. Right.
So I want to stop you there. I want to stop you there, if I may, because you just made a statement. You had to do things that you've never done. You went places that you've never went, but that's happened for a lot of people all around the world. I've been all over the place. Hold on, let me finish. I've been all over the place. And I've seen a lot of people. But one thing I didn't see is how you dealt with living in Alabama when the Klan was marching down the street. How you persevered through those kind of things. How you persevered being the only Black woman coming along certain times in your life, and you didn't have nobody right there in that moment to depend on other than God and what your ancestors taught you. Being able to call your mom, being able to call your sisters and saying, hey, girl, it's me. Just talk to me for a while, or being able to call a cousin or call somebody. See, because a lot of people say, well, that's normal. But a lot of us have not seen the Klan marching down our street.
Well,
a lot of us
I hadn't really seen them march down my street per se.
Well, I tell you,
if they came to the hood,
I bet you didn't remember that. You know why you didn't remember that? Because when I came to Alabama at 10 years old, you was, I ain't gonna tell y'all how old she was.
I was probably about 5 when y'all came. Well, you know what? I remember when y'all came.
Yeah.
I remember when y'all came. I probably was about 5 for real.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. She was little. So
5.
And during that time, my mom had went downtown with Aunt Gussie, your grandmother, and the Klan was marching in the street at that time. And the time was so tense.
Wow.
Your grandmother, your mother had to persevere. Wow. And some of the secret sauce and faith of perseverance dropped right on you.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to share that because I got to tell you, for my whole life that I've known you, I've seen this type of faith over fear. And God knows when you called and you said, cuz I had COVID, and you shared that with me, that was the worst month of my life. And you shared some private things with me that you were going through in your mind and how you battled through that. I tear up just thinking about it because I was in tears then.
I know.
But you persevered. So when you came out of it, when you started coming out of it, and you had your brother in the house with you, okay, and he didn't think nothing was wrong. You know how some of our guy folks do. I ain't nothing wrong with me. And now I'm going to tell this because I know her mother is at work. She pulled the I'm calling mommy card on you. She pulled that card out because she's a woman of faith. She had no fear. Y'all see how tall he is over her, right? I showed y'all how tall he is over her. That's her brother right there. She pulled the I'm calling mommy. This man's a minister. And she called his mother on him. I said, cuz you called your mom. And she called him. And what happened when you called your mother?
Well, I called my mom because my brother didn't think that he had anything going on, and he was resistant to the idea that he may be sick. And actually, he was actually headed back to work.
Yep.
And he was like, "I'm gonna put my mask on and go back to work." And I was like, "You got a fever." And he would not cooperate. You need to take your temp. You have a fever. No, it's summer because it's the middle of July. So the middle of July here is like hell with 5 L's for real. It's hot. It is. I mean, I'm serious. It's 100 degrees. It's at least 100 degrees. And so, anyways, he assumed that he was hot because he was working outside. He's a mason, so he was doing work outside. And I was like, but your whole body shouldn't be hurting and all of that. So he wouldn't cooperate, wouldn't let me take his temp, wouldn't take his own temp, and wouldn't let me take his temp. I called mama and she said, boy, you better let her take your temp. So he was like, oh, you snitched on me. I said, yep, I sure did. And if you don't let me take your temp, I'm gonna snitch again. And of course, my mama, who is about my height, he don't want to deal with her. He does not want to deal with my mama. So he allowed me to take the temp. And sure enough, he's like 101 and
Yeah.
probably 8.8 or 9, and it's rising. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize I had a fever. Yeah, you have fever. Oh, well, I need to, yes, you need to go get COVID tested. And he went and got tested and it was positive. And I knew it was positive because like I said, by that point, I knew that I was by that point, I had actually gotten a fever, and the small cough that I had went from 0 to 60, like in a day.
Wow.
And in fact, the night that I went from having a tickle that morning to that night I had a fever. I had a fever and was rising. So one of my sisters actually stayed on the phone all night with me until my fever got down so that I could go to sleep. But we finally he went and got COVID tested first. He was positive. I got COVID tested next. And of course I was positive also. But, and by this point, I was deep in it, the fever every day, the chills, like I said, congestion, can't, have just hard to breathe, the chills, the body aches, the constant headache that just would not go away. Yeah, that's my brother. Yeah. That was in happier times before
Yes.
I wanted to shank him. And so I told him
before you told your mother on him.
Yeah, that's right. I told my mom. And anyways, but it was a challenging thing because I mean, again, I didn't really have the strength or I didn't have the strength at all to really see about him. I mean, I was really trying to just get by on my own. And so, and because, we were trying to also remain quarantined from each other because you don't want to cross infect.
Exactly.
Right. And so that was the other thing. So it was a tough month because it was about a month. I mean, seriously, that we were both sick, but the Lord, really, really strengthened me. God healed me. And I'm serious when I say, when you've been in a place where you could say the Lord healed your body and, you start, just want to go.
Yep. Yep.
Woo.
And cause I'm with you right there. You said that you have to visualize your success.
Absolutely.
So you were able to visualize yourself being healed.
That's right.
Well,
that's right. Healed.
Exactly.
And I had to believe, this is the faith over fear. People talk that stuff all the time. And, oh, I believe the Lord. No. When you look in death in the face, then you start telling the truth.
Yep.
When you look in death in the face, you start telling the truth. And I had to be like, okay, God, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just going to walk with you. I'm going to believe that you said that you were Jehovah Rapha or Yahweh Rophecha. And I believe that you're Yahweh Rophecha. And I'm going to walk in the faith that you are Yahweh Rophecha. And I'm going to make it through this. And
so y'all, if y'all could say Yahweh, say it again, cuz.
It's Yahweh Rophecha. So
somebody spell that. Y'all try to say that.
Or Yehovah. I'm gonna, if you believe that He is the Lord that heals us, because that's what that means. That's Hebrew for the Lord who heals us, right?
Yes.
And if you believe that, and really believe that, then you're going to wait until the healing shows up. And that's what I did, completely. completely.
Wow. Well, listen, if you believe the Lord that heals us, speak that word over your own life. And if you have told on one of your siblings to make them get straight, go ahead and put a 5 in the comment block below. So we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back with the wonderful Dr. Tara White as we continue our discussion, failure over faith or faith over failure and faith over fear. So stick with us and we will be right back in a flash. Y'all don't go nowhere. Y'all don't go nowhere. Y'all don't want to miss this because this is it.
You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
All right, and we are back. Woo! So listen, folks, for those of you that's just joining us, I have the remarkable Dr. Tara White. She is all the way from Montgomery, Alabama. She's a historian. She's a speaker. She's a college educator. She's a trainer. She's an entrepreneur, and she is the former site director of the state capital of Alabama. None other than Dr. Tara White. So let's see where the folks are coming in from, Dr. White. I'll take one and then you take one and see what our audience is saying. So, of course, we have Angela from Washington, D.C. Good to see you. And who else do we have, Dr. White?
Hey, Cynthia Annette White.
That's
Cynthia.
Our cousin. All right, that's my cousin, y'all. What's up, Chip? Okay, and we have Valerie Arrington, Maxim Arrington. I want to make sure I get that right. I hope I said that right. All the way from Montgomery, Alabama. Thank you so much, Valerie, for joining us. And make sure you like, share, start a watch party. Send it off to somebody. Valerie know how to come in the house. She said, "I'm here, y'all." All right, I'm here. And she came in giving you some love. So those of you that have not given Dr. Tara and myself some love, go ahead and give us 2 L's. Give us 2 L's for some love. All right. Hi, cuz. I got that. In 2s and 3s, they want the secret sauce. Okay. And who else we got, Doc?
Oh, Greensboro. Charlene Sparks from Greensboro, the historic Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yes,
hello.
And who else we got?
Alicia. Hey, Alicia.
Good to see you, Alicia. Welcome to the show.
Yes.
And got a comment for you too. Poverty is at what?
I think it's a something, but I don't think I think it cut off part of that.
I think she's saying poverty is a state of mind. Poverty is a state of mind. And we have the fabulous Miss Camille Robb. There we go. Good to see you, Camille. Let us know where you're coming in from. And
it is a spirit. That's right. And it is a spirit and a mindset. And that is so true. So true.
Yes,
it is.
And so we have Gerard all the way from the Philippines.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
How about this one, Doc?
Oh, your mindset was ready to fight. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Exactly. And we got a bunch of fives coming in. See, you can see our viewers know
Yes.
they listening. And
Yes.
Ravi, hey Ravi, good to see you. Say
Hi,
hello to
Robbie.
your family for us over there in India. We're
Hi,
happy to have you.
Robbie.
Let us know what part of India you're coming in from. He has a great mission over there. And our
Oh,
wonderful friend Roz Warfield Knighty
yeah.
told me about Mr. Ravi. Mr.
Oh
Ravi's
my
jumped on the show a
God.
couple of times. So, hey, let us know where you're coming in from. And I tell you, he said, greetings from India, Tilapia's ministry.
Theophilus, lover of God. That's
That's
what that
right.
means. Yes.
See, my
All
cousin's
right.
so
All
smart, y'all.
right. All right.
So Camille
All
said,
right.
you cannot see, you cannot have it. That's what my grandmother always say to me.
That's right.
Hey, who knows? We
That's
might
right.
be related. And she
We
says,
might
hope,
be.
faith, and a lot of love. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, we have someone else on the show, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
you need to read this one.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
My brother, she did, cousin.
She, she told on you, cuz I don't know. I don't know if I would have took that laying down, but I know you probably had no choice. So, right. Hey, cuz, love you. Love you. Happy you feeling better too.
Oh my
Camille said,
God.
you are a very strong woman and your faith is very strong and God got you covered.
Glory to
All right.
God.
And
Glory to
Angela
God.
said, sibling love.
Yes, yes. Because I still love him. I love my brother. I love my brother. I really do. I praise God for him. I
Amen.
praise God for him.
Amen.
Yes,
And he said,
yes.
yeah, it was
It
about a
was
month.
about all for real. I mean, we were messed up. We were messed up. I'm so serious, and that's one of the things that's kind of it's kind of disheartening when you hear people say, well, it's just like the flu, blah. No, that's just a lot of different people have different experiences. And some people have really, really severe symptoms. And those folks, if you're blessed to not have very severe symptoms, that just thank God. But
Yes.
there are situations where you have, but again, what I had to believe was that God had a plan from, I believe that God has a plan for my life.
Yes.
The word of God says that he will perfect those things that concern us. And I believe that this was just part of my perfecting,
Yes.
but I also believe that, God has some other plans.
Yes.
And it just made me get up more determined to do the things that I want to do. And the things that he put in me to do. Let me say that, because there have been some things that he put in me to do, and so I'm more determined to do those things and to get those things done while I'm still here on this side, and I'm more determined to continue to mentor people and work with young people. That's what I've been doing for the last 10 or 12 years. Well, let me see, I've been teaching probably for about 15 years for real.
Mm-hmm.
And so mentoring young people is something that I've been doing for a long time. And in my work, my everyday work at the community college in the Black Belt, the poorest, one of the poorest regions in the nation, actually. I'm constantly pushing my kids, and they're grown people, but they're still my children. And I'm pushing, I'm pulling, I'm dragging, sometimes cussing and fussing. Yeah, for real, Dr. White. Yeah, sometimes it's bad. But
Look, y'all, she called her mother on her brother. So y'all students,
hey, I don't
you
play.
know she
They
don't
know
play.
Dr. White doesn't play. They already know that. They
They
already know it.
already know.
They
Can we
already
say that
know.
together? They
They already
already
know.
know.
That's right. They already know. But they know the other thing that they know that I'm fair.
Yes.
The other thing that they know is they know that I care about them. And they know that I want the best for them. I want the highest for them. And I push them in that way. letting them know that I want the best for them and I want the highest for them. And I want to see them successful. And sometimes it's hard when you can see it and other people can't see
Yes.
what's in them.
Yeah.
But I continue to do that and continue to push my students and expect the best, because I believe that they have a lot more in them than they know. And I want them to learn to meet obstacles and overcome them.
Right. So you know, your life is a life of service,
Absolutely.
and you
Absolutely.
have served valiantly,
Glory to God.
and you are not just a mentor, but you are a person who has been mentored by some of the greatest minds on the planet. You have just spearheaded so many different projects. You've done so much for so many. And I know most recently, um, you had a loss, if you will, um, when we lost one of the great people on the planet, a true pioneer, a true leader, a true man, uh, of knowledge, not just word. So, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I didn't even know that you knew him, um, until you shared that with me.
Oh, John Lewis.
Yes.
So the joke, and believe it or not, when the as his funeral, all the things that were happening here, I was like, that particular day was really bad. It was a bad day because my fever, I had taken, you can only take so much Tylenol at a time because if you take too much, it'll damage your liver. So I had taken all the Tylenol that I could take. Oh yeah. Oh, and anyways, but when they were doing the funeral, I just cried for days. Our joke was that, and I had met Congressman Lewis like years before, when I was site director for the state capitol. I was also the site director for a project that hadn't started, and that was the Freedom Rides Museum. And in fact, one of my jobs was to help actually get that started. One of the things I did, I actually ended up, there was a whole political thing, and I ended up laid off um, before we could even open the bus station as the Freedom Rides Museum. But one big thing that we did do, and I did work with, is there's an external exhibition. So, one of the things that I did was actually to, find images and write text and, do the script for that exhibition that's on the outside of the building, right? And anyways, I had met John Lewis as I was working on this project for the very first time. I met him first in Nashville, and then he came to Montgomery and he told me, I'm going to find you the money. Don't worry about this. I'm going to find you the money. But in the Nashville meeting, I told him where I was from, and that I was always telling people that we were cousins. So when I saw him in the picture, I was, hey, cousin. And that was the joke. Congressman Lewis actually, if you don't, it is from Pike County. My grandmother's my grandmother's father's family are Lewis's from Pike Road and down near the near where Montgomery and Pike County meets, right? And so he knew all of the places, not just where granddaddy's people, because these are, so Lotus and I share, Lotus's grandmother and my grandmother were sisters. And their father, those sisters' father was from Pike Road, and his mama was a Lewis. And then their mother was also from the area in Pike County that became a part of Bullitt County. So he knew all of those areas very well, and he knew people in all of those areas. So he probably knew people who knew our families on both sides, believe it or not. That was one of the things he was telling me before we took this picture, that he probably knew people on both sides, and that distantly will probably relate it. I can't hear you.
I was saying that it's so funny because a lot of times we are related to
Mm-hmm.
people, but we don't know our history, some of us. So this is why I told y'all she's a historian, and the sister runs deep. Anytime a person can call me in Japan and say, cuz, go to your email and send me the marriage license of my grandmother and my grandfather that I never met because he, as far as I knew, passed before I was born, with my great grandmother and great grandfather's names, who I never met before, the sister is deep. So yes, you go all the way there, and I have no doubt that somewhere along the line we're connected. So I want to thank you for sharing that story also, because I know that he was near and dear to your heart, and that it had a great impact, but that you also looked at his leadership. You looked at the faith that he had over failure, because the times that he came through, they were also tough, terrible times.
Absolutely. And so, you know, I got a chance to know John Lewis's story, not just you know, when we think about Lewis, we think about, in many cases, we think about him on the bridge in Selma, right? But I got to know his story earlier when he was actually the Freedom Ride story. You know, that was the story that I knew, and of course knew. And even before that, because I lived in Nashville, of course, him from the Nashville movement and from the students that were involved in the Nashville movement, he and C.T. Vivian and James Bevel and Diane Nash and Marion Barry and those guys who were all members of SNCC and other folks, because these are just this is just a corner of the folks who were members of SNCC. And so as a civil rights historian, person who was, you know, specialized in civil rights movement, of course, I knew him from Nashville, and then of course through the Freedom Ride story that I had to know to be able to interpret that at the museum, and then of course later with once I ended up in Selma and ended up working with the local folks in Selma to do, you know, oral histories and work with them. And the foot soldiers that I saw every year. I got a chance to really know those stories as well. And so he was central. And, you know, of course, I took special pride in the fact that he was an Alabamian and he was from Alabama. And, you know, he had that stubbornness that allows us to, you know, as they say, take a licking and keep on ticking. And so we, you know, don't flinch in the face of adversity. And that was something that, you know, really reminded me. And of course, I'm going to say that it's, you know, that's Alabamians. Other folks might say, you know, Georgians are that way. You know, I'm biased. And I tell people, yeah, yes, I am biased. Yeah.
You bias and you keep it 100.
1,000. That's right. I'm biased. Yeah.
1,000. So look, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So stay tuned. Keep your seat. And if you're just coming on, make sure you put the show on repeat, because we have shared some wonderful information here. And we hadn't even got through all the questions, so we're going to have to bring her back. So hold tight and we'll be right back.
You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it.
That's right. Put it on repeat. If you just tuned in with Dr. Lotus Lachey in the Fireball, Dr. Shaw White. Woo-wee! You got something to sing, so put it on repeat, baby. As we are here talking about faith over fear and faith over failure. Where are you landing? Come on.
You got me running, got me running, got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Raise your hands up, raise your hands up. Raise them up, raise them up.
All right, we are back. We are back. And so, yeah, I had to run both of them, so her brother could see, because she told her mother on her brother. So I had to, that's for my cuz. Go cuz. I know my sister do that to me all the time. I'm telling mommy, look, you 50-something years old. Stop telling mommy on me. But, siblings, as long as you got a parent on the earth, one of your siblings gonna tell on you. And if they don't tell, it's gonna be a person in your neighborhood. You remember when you was growing up, you had to really have some faith over fear and failure, because if you got caught out there doing something, you were fearful that your neighbor was gonna call or send a mockingbird to your house to tell your parents that you was out in the street cutting up.
Acting a fool.
Acting a fool.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. White, you have shared with us how you've come through the foibles of life, how you gained a lot of your stock from your grandmother.
Yep.
Which my Aunt May Gussie, y'all, she was one of the best people on the planet.
On earth. Absolutely.
And ever since I was a little kid, she always made sure that our family in Alabama knew who we were.
Absolutely.
And my dad and mom always made sure we knew who our family in Alabama were.
Absolutely.
And I gotta tell you, it's nothing like having strong men and women in your family that help you overcome fear, overcome failure, and give you the faith to stand. And I want to share this with you too. Earlier today, I had a conversation with somebody who actually got exactly what I meant and voiced it back to me. Because I believe sometimes we have to exude faith in people like you do with your students. And we show them that faith in them, even when they don't have faith in themselves, because they're so fearful, because they've never had nobody to show them or share with them how to overcome it, or how to stand, or be an example that, yes, you can be successful. And here, let me show you through my efforts. But sometimes they don't have nobody. And when that somebody does show up and say, I got faith in you, sometimes, like you, Dr. White, you have to be the beacon of faith until they gain their own faith.
Absolutely.
Strong enough to help them to stand.
Absolutely.
How were you able to do that for so many, for so long, and still have a life of such great quality? Because that's hard work.
It is hard work, and it's a lot. But I have to do it. And I do it because there were so many times along the way, and I brought up my stature and, all of that because, there were so many times along the way that I did not look like the person who would be, who would be in the place. Right. There were so many times, and that's not even just race, right? It's not
Right.
just, that I was a Black woman. It was also class because we were poor. And,
Right.
there are, when you dream outside of your station,
Yes.
right? People have a tendency to not believe not believe you, or I remember growing up and I wanted to be a doctor. Actually, if somebody had told me I would be a historian, I'd tell them they were lying and probably cuss them out about 20 years ago. But I always, from the time I knew what a profession was, I wanted to be a medical doctor. And I remember people telling me, "Oh, my classmates, laughing about the whole medical doctor thing because they were like, oh, you can't be no doctor. You live in the projects." And I would say, well, yeah, I live in the projects. And now we don't have a pot or a window, right? But now y'all have a house and your parents have, good jobs. I didn't know anything about careers then, right? Your parents have good jobs and you have a house and you dress well and you make crappy grades. And look at my grades. And I'm making all A's over here and you got like you on life support. So we'll see. We'll see. I had to actually again, see myself outside of what other people's expectations of me were, right? And I could not imbibe. I could not take in what other people, were trying to put me. I had somebody who tried to. I had a classmate who connected with me on Facebook. This was some years ago, and it was funny because I knew the person, but I did not. I had known the person like in elementary school and didn't really have a relationship with the person beyond because they were a little crazy. And so, anyways, there was a debate going on, and I love some. There are times when I like to be provocative because I enjoy the conversation and I enjoy the exchange of ideas. Anyways, this person, went off on this whole tangent, entered into a debate that she knew nothing about, went off on this whole tangent. And then I was like, well, you're not really getting what we're talking about, and so then this person goes on this whole thing. Well, I think she was trying to, do a clap back. Well, you know what, well, I'm just glad to see that you are successful. And at least you were able to get out of that project that you were in. I was like, girl, that's my testimony. What you talk about? I tell everybody, I'm not ashamed. I'm not. From project to PhD, that's a testimony, right? And hell, I might get a shirt. Because I'm having my version of Hot Girl Summer, but I might get a shirt that says that from project to PhD. Yeah, I'm serious. That's my testimony. And I'm not. I have no. I'm not one of these people. Who tries to. People who know me know that I keep it 1,000. I've been keeping it 1,000 for a long time. My friends who have known me for a long time, they'll tell you that, oh, Tara's gonna, she's gonna tell you just like it is and where to get off. And she is who she is all the time. But I think that it's important for people to know that you have to see who you have to know who you are when other people don't know who you are. You have to have a firm and steady mind in places where other people think otherwise. And you have to be willing to walk the walk alone, because now there were a lot of people who didn't go with me, right? What is really interesting about, you know, the people I grew up with is that a lot of the people I grew up with, I had to kind of just keep going, because they had another version of their lives that they wanted to do, and I had my version, and I was like, hell, we poor, we need air conditioning because it's hot. It's hot as hell in the project in the summer, right? And so I said, we poor, we need air conditioning. So I told grandma that actually that was a conversation me and my grandma had. I told grandma I gotta go to college because we need air conditioning. This box fan is not getting it with these bricks in the summer, right? And so you know, it was one of those, but I had a vision in my mind of what I wanted my life to be and what I wanted to do. And I was not going to shirk from that. But I pour into other people because people pour into me. You know, I talk to even with my you know, my education. You know, there are people who mentor other people need mentors. Okay, I have been blessed to have some of the most amazing mentors in the, you know, in just higher ed in general. I've been blessed to have mentors in my field. I've been blessed to have just other, you know, folks who saw potential in me and were willing to make the investment of time and the investment of training and development, and you know, the investment of love, because that's a labor of love to put time into a young person. That's a labor of love. And so, you know, even now with my and I was good and grown when I went back to graduate school, but you know, my PhD committee, I love them folks. Well, there's actually one person, you know, who was a little crazy. I mean, like for real. But I I do. I mean, my PhD committee, they would drive me crazy while I was doing it. Now I was, you know, drinking to keep from being cussing out my dissertation advisor sometimes. And she knew that. Well, actually, I wasn't drinking. I was trying to keep from drinking, starting back drinking. That was number one. But I was quilting. I started quilting actually to keep from drinking and cussing the dissertation advisor out. But my dissertation advisor, I have to say, was an advocate, and there were some times when people didn't know that she was an advocate for me. There were times when she and people were scared of her too, for real. But little bitty woman from Iowa. But there were times when she was an advocate for me, and there are doors that she opened for me, and I am grateful to her for that, because that's what mentors do. You know, real mentors open in any place where they can open doors for you. They do. I worked for, when I finished my master, was working on my master's, I had the opportunity to intern at the Smithsonian's Museum of National Museum of American History, and to work with the guy who's now the secretary of all of the Smithsonian museums, Lonnie Bunch. And Lonnie was amazing. Working with Lonnie was even more amazing. And not just Lonnie, I got a twofer. So I got to work with Lonnie Bunch and Spencer Crew. And both of those guys, you know, they call from time to time, tell me I don't worry them enough. You know, you're right. Yeah, I don't bug them enough. And that's a good feeling to have your mentor say, well, you hadn't called us. You're not bugging us enough. Or use me, you know. Lonnie, you tell me all the time, use me. You know, hey, tell them that Lonnie Bunch said blah, blah, blah. And he didn't mind. He doesn't mind doing that. Tell him to call me. You know, he doesn't mind doing that. He doesn't mind doing that.
So, Mr. Crew, CREW or CRU? Who's Mr.
CREW, Dr. Crew. So
Dr. Crew.
Dr. Crew
That's
at the time, Spencer Crew was the director and the first African American director of the Museum of American History, right? And he was Lonnie's boss. And I got a chance, got the opportunity to work with both of them when I was during this internship, and maintain, you know, like I said, maintain a connection to them even today. And there are projects that, you know, come along and whatever that I've worked with them. In fact, right before my grandmother transitioned, the weekend that she transitioned, I was working on a project with Dr. Crew in DC. Awesome. The weekend she transitioned, that he pulled me into. But wonderful people. But not just that. I mean, Gretchen Soren at the Cooperstown program. Gretchen Soren, I keep wanting to send her my children. She says she doesn't want my children. Keep the babies. It's like, no, Tara, I don't want the babies. You know, but I had some amazing folks at the Cooperstown program. Gretchen Soren and Blaney Wright. And another faculty member who's not there, Deborah Prosser, introduced me to women's history, right? Wow. I've had a bunch of informal, you know, people who weren't even my, you know, dissertation advisors who poured into me. People like the late, you know, Dr. Jackie Rouse. I used to bug poor Dr. Rouse, but Dr. Rouse would, although I wasn't her student, you know, would give me a whole lot of love. Lillian Williams in Buffalo at the University of Buffalo, whole lot of love.
Yeah.
You know, just people who again poured into me. And like I said, my dissertation advisor, Rebecca Connard, committee members, Mary Hochschwelle, Van West, who was originally on my committee. But that's a story. That's a whole story. People like, you know, and of course, Jan Leon was one of my committee members as well. She was wonderful. My women's history professor, Christine McCusker. You know, I just because I do women's history, and Chris was the class was, you know, mind blowing for me because I've been doing, you know, African American women's history and for a minute, and so I was able to meld what I already had with what I was getting there, and it was a great course. So, you know, but we still, you know, they still challenge me, they still push me, they still challenge me. I have a bunch of, you know, amazing historian friends who still challenge, and just folks who, you know, like I said, have nothing to gain.
So Doc, let's shift gears. Because I tell you, you have talked about all of your mentors. Well, not all of them, because I know it's a lot more mentors.
It's a lot. It's more.
That have opened doors for you. Yeah. You have opened doors for thousands of people. And I know that we're slightly past the top of the hour. But as we close, I really would like you to, if you could look back, had you ever seen the greatness of yourself evolving on the television that we call life?
You know, believe it or not, I could not have seen I could not have seen what I see and what I experience now. And that's, you know, I still have a whole lot of more stuff to do. You know, there are so many folks who've done a whole lot more, there's some amazing historian colleagues and friends out there. I mean, who are doing tremendous work. African American history is a wonderful field, and it's continuing to bloom and blossom and change and become complicated in ways that it should. And I am just happy to be amongst the folks who are doing it and who are doing it well. I get my grad on just like everybody else, and trying to do the work, and the work is documenting our people, and the work is the work for me, because not everybody has the same goal. Some people's goal, is to produce, or purpose. That's right. Some people's purpose and goals, to produce mind-blowing scholarship and whatever. And I'm not saying that that's not good, and that's not one of my goals. One day it's coming. It's coming. But what I will say is that I understand that if you don't have records, history is about evidence, and history is about documents. History is about sources, and history is about stories. And part of my purpose is to retrieve, right, and to restore those stories, primarily African Americans in the South in general, African Americans in Alabama in particular, African American folks in Montgomery in particular, and African American women. Those are the folks that I will continue to restore to the narrative, that I will continue to restore to posterity. That those are the folks that I will continue to write about and talk about and research until I go home.
So how can people connect with you? How can they reach out to you? Now, I know you're on Facebook.
I am on Facebook.
You're on LinkedIn and other areas, but what's the best way to connect with you?
And so I am on Facebook, I am on Twitter, I am on Instagram, although I'm still not all the way, I'm gonna have to get with young people to kind of figure out, kind of really trick out Instagram, but I am there. I am on LinkedIn, and some other platforms. I think the best way to get at me probably will be on Facebook. Yep. And post there. What I try to do is I try to not now. I'm really funny about the people that I friend, and I'm going to be really honest. Partly because most of the people I'm friends with, I know, right? Most of the folk I know. I don't, it's not like somebody I don't know. I'm really kind of funny about that. But if enough people I know you, and they're good people, because some people crazy.
Amen.
And so if you know a bunch of crazy people that I know, I'm not gonna accept your I'm be like, hell no, I'm not. No, no. Yeah, I'm just kind of hesitant because I know that I can be outspoken, and I take my space very seriously, and so
Awesome.
but ideas, you're always gonna see me post. I post a lot of funny stuff and laughs, but ideas,
and
I'm always going to do that.
And
I'm always trying to encourage people because that's a part of my purpose.
So what's next for you? You got any books coming out? And by the way, I love what you said, from the project to PhD.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that t-shirt. I'm gonna get it blinged out and
I already got you.
I'm gonna get it blinged out and everything.
Check
It's
this
gonna
out.
be red though.
I've already sent a word to have you a shirt done. That's right, just that quick. So I love that. So make sure y'all get her shirt when she comes out with her shirt, and get you one that's blinged too, because she's gonna get one with the bling on it. And so what's next for you? Any new books coming out? I know you do a lot of speaking, or you were doing a lot of speaking at physical events.
Well, last year, last year was the centennial for women's suffrage, and like I said, I do women's history, Black women's history, and so there were lots of opportunities to talk about, African American women and suffrage, and I did a bunch of that last year. This year, I'm not doing as much.
Right.
Things come up. I mean, and so I do them as they come up, but I haven't been doing as much. Just really trying to work on some things. Really trying to be involved with, African American history, African American life and history. Trying to do my job.
Amen. So look,
teach online.
Teach online. So
teach all these classes.
We're gonna take a quick break. We are gonna come back, and we're gonna hear some final words of wisdom from our phenomenal guest, all the way from Montgomery, Alabama, the remarkable Dr. Tara White. And if you're just showing up and you missed this, we have had a wonderful time talking about faith over failure and faith over fear. She has shared some phenomenal insights with us about who she is, what she does, who inspired her, what keeps her going, those she inspired, her mentors, knowing that great mentors need great mentors, and a whole lot more. How she made it as a pint-sized lady doing phenomenally huge things. And she's even shared with us that she told her mom on her brother when he was ill, so she could take his temperature. So with that being said, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come right we're gonna come right back before we close out the show for the night. We'll be right back.
It's time for you to start bossing in social media. For all your social media needs, you've come to the right place at the right time to get your website designed, landing page, social media platforms, and get the training you need to get in front of the people that's ready to buy your products and services. Let me train you with StreamYard, Zoom, Clubhouse, and much more. And let me help you get your virtual professionals, not assistants, because assistants can only assist you, but the virtual professionals can give you that professional flavor that you need to expand your reach and increase your revenue. Jump on in and get in where you fit in and start bossing today.
You got me running, got me running, running, got me shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Raise your hands up, raise your
Thank you for joining our show this evening with Dr. Lotus Lachey and Dr. Tara White from Montgomery, Alabama, as she talks about faith over fear and failure. Make sure to write this stuff down, folks, because no takers are money makers. Back to the show. Here we go.
All right, and we are back. Now, Doc, we went to a quick break before we go and get our final words of wisdom for this show from you, but we definitely want to have you back on the show. Now, somebody you told got some secret sauce. He said, are you doing anything for Juneteenth? So you must have left something out.
Actually, I think I'm doing a workshop.
All right.
I think I'm doing a workshop on preserving your family history. I think that's That's before Juneteenth. That's Park Service. I'm doing a workshop on preserving your family history stuff, right? The pictures and the documents and all that stuff. But I don't know. That might be something that we do, family wise. Preacher, we might actually be doing something family wise for Juneteenth. So keep that yeah, keep on the lookout for that, Lee family,
Yep.
Lee descendants. But the things that I want to leave people with.
And hold on, Doc. Before you say
Before
that,
I do
hold
that,
on, Doc.
okay,
Before you say that,
okay,
I'm going to slide over
okay,
because I want people to just see you
okay.
as you give your final words of wisdom because you said, I want to leave people with. So please share your words of wisdom.
Um, I want to leave people with the idea that, seriously, when I say I joke around, I talk trash, and I love trash talking, but that's in our family, as you can see. That's us. It's a part of us. But um, two scriptures really do guide my entire life and have guided my life for a long time. And the first is Psalms 1:1 through 3, and it starts out, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, and whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper. That's number one. The other one was the verse that Lotus put up, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all of your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. And I have to say that above and beyond anything else, what is most important to me and what's most important in my life is my relationship with the Lord, God. I'm a Christian. I'm an unashamed, unabashed Christian. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not I don't beat people over the head with Jesus, but I think the best sermons, in many cases, are the ones that people see. And what I hope to leave people in this life is that when the people who knew me knew that I was a person of integrity, a person who has character, a person who loved, right? And a person who lived a godly life, right? That they could actually see God through my actions. I'm not always saying Jesus, 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 and living like a heathen and acting a fool and being mean and hateful and low down, but that people actually saw God through the way that I treated other people. That was that's the first big lesson is that live a life of faith, live your faith. The second big lesson is to know who you are. The thing that like I said, when in the opening, my grandmother always said that we were not poor, right? Poverty is a state of mind, and it is. And I don't care what anybody else says. People say, well, not having anything to eat. No, 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 no. Poverty really is a state of mind. What I knew was that my condition was poverty, right? My condition, materially, I was poor, but as a person, I had a very rich and textured life. And so you need to know who you are, and so I'm going to encourage people to find out who they are, right? Get to know who you are, and lead from that center, right? And that's how I live my life. I lead from that center of who I know I am.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's awesome.
yeah,
Live your faith. Let people see the God in you. You
absolutely,
also said trust in the Lord.
absolutely,
Poverty is just a state of mind
it is.
and lead from your center. That's wow, that's amazing. And
Good.
so my final words of wisdom is listen to Dr. Tyra White. That's my final words of wisdom. So until we meet again, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night on News You Can Use. No, not News You Can Use. I'll be back here tomorrow night on the Lotus Richey Ignite show with another great show. So I double dog dare you to show up at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and come and check us out. And that's right, we're going to be lit again, and we're going to be helping you help yourself ignite and take flight in every area of your life. That's what I said, in every area of your life. Why? Because I'm bringing inspiration to every nation. That's right. Why not? Because I can. So with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here tonight. Please make sure you like, share, start a watch party, and run and tell somebody.
And y'all see why we're cousins?
Yes. And if you've missed, go ahead, cuz. Go ahead.
Y'all see this is the same. That's the same sauce. That's the same juice. That's the same juice. It's in the DNA. It's in the DNA.
It's in the DNA. I'm telling you. What they say, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. We from the same tree, y'all.
That's right.
From the same tree. So y'all make sure y'all come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp, and join me, because I'm going to help you make sure that you're finding ways to invest your money in the right stuff. I'll have a financial stock expert with me tonight or tomorrow night, that's going to help you make some great, knowledgeable investments. So with that being said, Mr. Calhoun, I'm looking forward to seeing you on tomorrow. Dr. White, you've been a delight. Don't go. Hang out with me for a quick minute. And for all of those that are still here, we love you and good night.
You got me running. Shake it.
Thank you to the remarkable Dr. Tyra White from Montgomery, Alabama. She came, she saw, and she told us how to have faith over fear and failure. I'll see you right here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we discuss how to teach yourself to invest in the right thing and not the wrong thing. See you tomorrow night.
Ignite and take flight in every area of your life.